Aron Ralston was not a reckless idiot. This is the first misconception we need to clear up. When we hear about a guy who goes into the desert alone, tells no one where he is going, and gets trapped, we think, fool. But Aron Ralston was a genius. He was a mechanical engineer, a double major from Carnegie Mellon University, French and engineering. He worked for Intel in Tacoma, Washington. He spent his days designing mechanical systems. He understood fulcrums. He understood leverage. He understood torque. He saw the world as a series of forces and counterforces. But inside the cubicle, staring at the gray walls of corporate America, he was dying. He was 26 years old. He had what he called the itch. It started on the weekends. He would drive to the Cascades. He would climb mountains. He realized that the only time he felt truly awake was when he was hanging by his fingertips from a granite face. In 2002, he did the unthinkable. He walked into his boss's office at Intel. He was making a good salary. He had a 401k. He had security. "I quit," he said. "Where are you going?" his boss asked. "Google? Microsoft?" "No," Aron said. "Aspen. I'm going to work in a climbing shop." He traded a six-figure potential for $10 an hour and a pair of skis. He moved to Colorado. He lived in a house with other dirtbag climbers. He was free. And because he was free, he began to push the limits. Aron didn't just want to climb mountains. He wanted to do something nobody had ever done. The Colorado 14ers. There are 59 peaks in Colorado that are over 14,000 feet high. In the summer, they are hikes. Thousands of people do them. But in the winter, they are killers. The wind screams at 80 miles per hour. The temperature drops to 40 below zero. The avalanche danger is extreme. Nobody had ever soloed all of them in winter. That became Aron's project. The Winter Solo Project. He approached it like an engineer. He made spreadsheets. He calculated calories. He mapped routes. He became a machine. He would wake up at 2 a.m., drive to a trailhead, hike through waist-deep snow, summit, ski down, drive home, eat a frozen burrito, sleep, repeat. He was incredibly fit. He was incredibly skilled. But he was developing a dangerous mental habit. He started to believe he was special. He survived storms that turned others back. He navigated whiteouts where others got lost. He began to think that the rules of physics didn't apply to him, or rather, that he was smart enough to outwit physics. This is called the invincibility complex, and it is the most dangerous drug in the world. Why solo? Why did he insist on going alone? Because Aron Ralston was an introvert who loved an audience, but only after the fact. He loved the purity of the solo experience. When you are alone on a mountain, there is no negotiation. If you're with a partner, you have to talk. Are you tired? Should we turn back? When you are alone, the decision is immediate. You move fast. You are silent. You are part of the landscape. He loved the music. He listened to Fish, the String Cheese Incident, jam bands. He would put on his headphones, crank the volume, and enter a trance state. He called it the zone. In the zone, fear disappears. Time disappears. It is just you, the rock, and the rhythm. But the problem with the zone is that it deafens you to the warning signs. You don't hear the crack of the snowpack. You don't hear the rock shifting. You're dancing in a minefield, wearing a blindfold. February 2003, 2 months before the accident in Utah. This is the event that should have stopped him. Aron was skiing in the backcountry of Colorado with two friends, Mark and Chadwick. They were looking for fresh powder. Aron was the leader, the expert. They approached a slope called Resolution Peak. The avalanche danger was high. Considerable, the report said. Aron looked at the slope. His engineering brain calculated the angle. It looked stable, he said. He was wrong. He dropped in. He made one turn, two turns. Then, the world shattered. A crack shot across the snow, hundreds of feet wide. The entire mountain began to slide. It wasn't like a movie. It was like the earth turned into liquid concrete. "Avalanche!" he screamed. The snow grabbed him. It buried him to his neck. It grabbed his friends. Mark and Chadwick were swept into the trees. When the snow stopped moving, the silence was terrifying. Aron dug himself out. He was frantic. "Mark! Chadwick!" He found them. They were buried. But they were alive. They were shaken. They were angry. Aron had almost killed them. He had made a bad call. His hubris had almost cost 3 lives. This incident shook him to his core. For a few weeks, he was humble. He questioned himself. But then, the rationalization set in. "We survived," he told himself. "I handled the rescue. I learned." He didn't learn the right lesson. He didn't learn, "Stop." He learned, "I can survive disaster." It was the wrong lesson, and it set the stage for April. April 2003. The winter was over. The snow was melting. Aron was restless. The avalanche was in the past. He needed to get away. He needed a road trip. He looked at the map. Utah, Canyonlands, the Red Rock Desert. It is the opposite of the mountains. It is hot. It is dry. It is a labyrinth of stone. He decided to go to Blue John Canyon. Why Blue John? Because it was obscure. It wasn't a famous national park hike with guardrails and rangers. It was BLM land, Bureau of Land Management, wild, unpatrolled. He wanted to do a technical canyoneering route. It involved rappelling, climbing, squeezing through narrow slots. It was a playground for a mechanical engineer. He planned the trip in his head. Drive out Friday night. Mountain bike to the trailhead. Hike the canyon. Bike back to the truck. Drive home Sunday, back to work. Monday. A perfect weekend warrior strike mission. He didn't tell his roommates where he was going. Why would he? He did this every weekend. He didn't tell his mom. He just packed his truck. Let's look at what he packed. This inventory is crucial. Every item will become a character in the story later. The truck, a maroon Toyota Tacoma, his base camp. The bike, a mountain bike to run the shuttle. The backpack, a generic day pack. Water, a camelback bladder, 2 liters, and an Nalgene bottle, 1 liter. 3 liters total. For a day in the desert, it was just enough, not extra, just enough. Food. 2 burritos he bought at a gas station, some candy bars, a muffin. Clothing, a t-shirt, shorts, a fleece pullover, thank God. The tool, a cheap generic multi-tool. It wasn't a Leatherman. It was a knockoff brand he got free with a flashlight purchase. It had a dull knife, a pair of pliers, a small flashlight. The camera, a digital camcorder. The Walkman, with fish tapes. Climbing gear, a harness, a rope, carabiners. He packed like he was going for a day at the beach. Light, fast, efficient. He forgot one thing, the contingency plan. He left no note on the dashboard. He left no note on the kitchen table. He vanished into the American West without a trace. Friday, April 25th, 2003. He finishes his shift at the mountaineering shop in Aspen. He jumps in the Tacoma. He drives west. This is the best feeling in the world. The windows are down. The air smells of sagebrush and cooling asphalt. He is escaping civilization. He drives through the night. He reaches the Horseshoe Canyon trailhead, late. He sleeps in the back of the truck. He looks at the stars. The desert sky is a dome of diamonds. He feels infinite. He feels young. He has no idea that this is the last night he will sleep in a bed, or a truck bed, for a very long time. He wakes up Saturday morning, April 26th. The sun is blazing. The sky is a piercing, painful blue. He unloads the bike. He puts on his headphones. He starts to pedal. He is heading toward the horizon. He is heading toward the crack in the earth. He is heading toward the rock. Saturday morning, 9 a.m. Aron locks his bike to a juniper tree. He is at the top of the canyon system. He is feeling good. He puts on his headphones. Fish is playing. He starts to run, not hike, run. He is bounding over the slick rock. The sandstone is red, orange, and white. It looks like frozen swirls of taffy. This is what he lives for, the kinetic energy. He feels light. He has 3 liters of water. He has his burritos. He has the sun. He is the king of his own private kingdom. He reaches the first drop-off. He rappels down. The canyon gets tighter. The walls go up. The sky becomes a narrow ribbon of blue. He is entering the slot. A slot canyon is a geological miracle. It is a crack in the earth, carved by flash floods over millions of years. Some places are so narrow you have to turn sideways to fit. It is beautiful. It is also a trap. Once you're in, there is only one way out. Down. Around 11 a.m., he hears voices. He is surprised. He thought he was alone. He turns a corner and sees 2 women, Megan and Christy. They are hikers. They are a bit lost. Aron switches into guide mode. He is charming. He is confident. "I know this place," he says. "I can show you a cool route." He leads them to a subterranean pool, the bathtub. They have to jump into the cold water. Aron goes first. Splash. He laughs. He surfaces, shaking his hair like a dog. The girls jump in. They are screaming and laughing. It is a moment of pure joy. For an hour they hang out. They share snacks. They flirt a little. Aron films them with his camcorder. "Say hi to the camera." They wave. Then the moment ends. "We have to head back," the girls say. "I'm going to keep going," Aron says. "I want to do the lower canyon." They invite him to a party that night. "Come find us," they say. "We'll have beer." "I'll be there," Aron promises. He watches them walk away. He considers going with them. If he goes with them, he lives a normal life. He marries. He gets old. But the solo itch is too strong. "I'll see you later," he yells. He turns back to the canyon. He is alone again, and the clock is ticking. It is 2:40 p.m. Aron is deep in Blue John Canyon. He is moving fast. He wants to make that party. He comes to a section where the canyon is very narrow, maybe 3 feet wide. There are boulders wedged between the walls. These are called chockstones, rocks that fell from above and got stuck. You have to climb over them or under them. Aron sees a chockstone. It is a large boulder, about 800 pounds. It looks stable. It has probably been there for 100 years. He climbs down a few feet. He needs to get below it. He stems his legs, 1 foot on the right wall, 1 foot on the left wall, like a spider. He reaches out to use the boulder as a handhold. He tests it. He shakes it. It doesn't move. Okay, he thinks. It's solid. He transitions his weight. He begins to down climb. His face is inches from the rock. He is listening to the music in his head. He is happy. It happens in less than a second. As he lowers his weight, the friction changes. The boulder rotates. Gravity takes over. Aron feels the rock shift. His brain registers the movement. Danger. He tries to pull his hand back, but he is falling. He falls about 10 feet. He lands on his feet in the bottom of the canyon. He looks up. The boulder is falling with him. It is falling right at his head. Instinct takes over. He throws his hands up to protect his face. This saves his life, but it costs him his freedom. The boulder smashes his left hand against the canyon wall. Crunch. But it doesn't stop there. His right hand is trapped. Wait. No. Let's slow it down. He lands. The boulder lands. It lands on his right hand. His left hand is free. His right forearm is pinned against the canyon wall. The boulder stops. It is wedged tight. It has crushed his arm. For a moment, there is no pain, just shock. The adrenaline is so high that his brain blocks the signal. He stares at his arm. It disappears into the crack between the rock and the wall. Then, the pain hits. It is a white-hot spike of agony. "Get it off!" he screams. It is not a word. It is a noise. A primal animal roar that echoes off the canyon walls. "Fa! Fa! Fa!" He slams his left shoulder against the rock. He pushes with his legs. He heaves with every ounce of strength in his 26-year-old athlete's body. Move! The rock doesn't move. It doesn't budge a millimeter. It is 800 pounds of sandstone. He is 160 pounds of flesh. The physics are absolute. He pulls his arm. He yanks it. The pain is blinding. It feels like his arm is being ripped off. But it is stuck. His hand is crushed. The bones are shattered. The circulation is cut off. He stops pushing. He gasps for air. The silence of the canyon returns. The dust settles. He is standing up. His feet are on a small chockstone. He is trapped. Panic lasts for about 45 minutes. This is the adrenaline phase. He tries everything. He tries to lift the rock. He tries to chip at the rock with his free hand. He tries to pull his arm out, even if it tears the skin. Nothing works. Then something amazing happens. The panic burns out. The adrenaline fades, and the engineer wakes up. Aron Ralston's brain switches gears. He stops screaming. He looks at the rock. He analyzes the problem. The problem: my arm is pinned. The constraint: the rock is too heavy to lift. The goal: extract the arm. Option A: move the rock. Failed. Option B: chip the rock away. Possibility. Option C: cut the arm off. Unthinkable. Dismissed. Option D: wait for rescue. Possibility. He checks his watch. 3:15 p.m. Saturday. He checks his supplies. Water. Less than a liter left. He drank most of it on the ride. Food: 2 burritos, some candy, clothing, shorts, t-shirt. The knife. He pulls out the multi-tool. He looks at it. It is a piece of junk. A free giveaway tool. The blade is dull. It is barely 2 inches long. He tries to chip the rock with the knife. Tick, tick, tick. Sandstone is soft, but it is still rock. He makes a tiny scratch. He realizes, I can't chip this away. It will take weeks. He looks at the option C again. Cut the arm off. He looks at the dull knife. He looks at his arm. I can't saw through bone with this, he says aloud. It's impossible. He starts to rig a system. He is a climber. He has ropes. He has webbing. He ties a webbing anchor around the rock. He builds a harness for himself so he can sit down. He can't stand forever. His legs will fail. He creates a seat out of ropes. He takes the weight off his legs. This is a huge victory. It buys him time. He organizes his gear on top of the boulder. The boulder is now his desk. He lays out the burritos, the water bottle, the camera. He is tidying up. It is a way of asserting control over chaos. I am still in charge, he tells himself. He isn't. The rock is in charge. The sun goes down. This is the moment the reality hits. In the desert, the temperature drops 40 degrees at night. He is wearing a t-shirt and shorts. He has the fleece pullover in his bag. He puts it on. It is difficult with one hand trapped, but he manages. The canyon goes black. He turns on his headlamp. The beam of light illuminates the rock, his arm, and the wall. Nothing else. He is in a coffin standing up. He takes a sip of water. He realizes he has to ration it. Sip, don't gulp, he whispers. He thinks about the party. Megan and Christy are probably opening beers right now. Where is that guy, they might ask. He probably flaked, they'll say. Nobody knows he is here. His roommates think he is just gone for the weekend. His boss expects him on Monday. Monday is 2 days away. I have to last until Monday, he thinks. If I don't show up for work, they will call the police. He clings to this hope. The search will start Tuesday, rescue by Wednesday. Can he survive 4 days? He looks at the water bottle. Maybe. He settles in for the long wait. He doesn't know it yet, but the physical pain is just beginning. The real torture will be the cold. Saturday night. The first night is a lesson in thermodynamics. The rock walls of the canyon suck the heat out of the air. The temperature drops to the low 40s. Aron is standing. He cannot sit down fully because the rope harness cuts off the circulation to his legs. If he stands, his legs work, but he burns energy. If he sits, his legs go numb, but he rests. He enters a cycle. Stand for 20 minutes, sit for 10. Then the shivering starts. It isn't just shivering. It is uncontrollable convulsions. His teeth chatter so hard he worries he will chip a tooth. His body is vibrating against the rock. He pulls his arms inside his t-shirt. He wraps the rope around himself like a cocoon. It doesn't help. The cold is an active predator. It is trying to shut down his organs. He starts to talk to himself. Stay warm, Aron. Keep moving. He does deep knee bends. 1, 2, 3. He does hundreds of them. It warms him up for a few minutes, but it burns his precious calories. He is trading food for heat. He eats a piece of the burrito. It is dry and tasteless. He drinks a sip of water. He watches the stars move across the sliver of sky. He names them. He waits for the sun. He has never wanted the sun so badly in his life. Sunday morning, April the 27th. The sun hits the canyon rim at 8 a.m., but the sunlight doesn't reach the bottom of the slot until 9:30 a.m. When the beam of light finally hits him, it is like a religious experience. He closes his eyes. He lets the warmth soak into his skin, but the warmth also brings clarity. He looks at the rock. It hasn't moved. He looks at his hand. It is turning colors. Blue, gray. It is dead. The necrosis has started. The tissue is dying. The toxins are building up. He decides to get to work. He takes the multi-tool. He opens the small blade. He starts to chip at the sandstone boulder. Scrape, scrape, scrape. He wants to carve a groove in the rock, enough to slide his hand out. He works for hours. Dust covers his face. It gets in his eyes. He enters a trance state. Scrape, scrape. After 3 hours, he blows the dust away. He has removed about a handful of sand. He needs to remove a cubic foot of rock. At this rate, it will take him 3 months. He realizes the futility. He throws the knife down on the boulder. "It's not working," he screams at the canyon. The canyon absorbs the sound and gives nothing back. Sunday afternoon. He realizes he might die here. He pulls out the digital camcorder. He turns the screen so he can see himself. He presses record. This is the moment the engineer disappears and the sun appears. "Mom, Dad." "I'm really sorry." His voice breaks. "I went to Blue John Canyon. I didn't tell anyone." He explains the situation calmly. "My name is Aron Ralston. My parents are Larry and Donna Ralston of Inglewood, Colorado. Whoever finds this, please give this tape to them." He films the rock. He films his trapped hand. He wants them to know he tried. He doesn't want them to think he was reckless. He wants them to know it was an accident. "I love you guys. I'll touch you with my spirit." He turns the camera off. He feels lighter. He has confessed. He has left a record. Now he can focus on dying with dignity. Monday morning, April 28th, day 3. The water is almost gone. He has less than half a liter left. He is starting to hallucinate. He sees shapes in the rock shadows, faces, monsters. But then, something real appears. A raven. It flies over the canyon opening. Caw, caw. It lands on a chockstone above him. It looks down at him with a black, intelligent eye. Aron talks to it. "Hey buddy, you got any water?" The raven tilts its head. It stays for exactly 15 minutes. Then it flies away. This becomes his clock. The raven comes at 9 a.m. every day. Aron starts to rely on it. It is the only other living thing in his universe. He wonders if the raven is waiting for him to die. "Not yet," Aron whispers. "I'm not carrion yet." Monday afternoon, the water runs out. He takes the last sip. He holds the empty Nalgene bottle. He is severely dehydrated. His tongue is swollen. His lips are cracked and bleeding. He has to pee. He looks at the bottle. He knows the survival rule. Don't drink urine. It contains salts and toxins. It accelerates dehydration. But he also knows that the first pass of urine is mostly water. He makes a choice. He pees into the bottle. It is dark yellow. He lets it settle. He waits until the thirst is unbearable. Then he drinks it. It is warm. It is salty. It tastes like ammonia. He gags, but he forces it down. "It's fluid," he tells himself. "It's just fluid." He drinks his own waste to buy another 12 hours of life. It is a degradation of the spirit, but a victory of the will. Tuesday morning, April 29th, day 4. The rescue hasn't come. He knows that even if his boss called the police on Monday, nobody knows where he is. They are looking in the wrong state, he thinks. They think I'm in Colorado. He realizes he has to cut the arm off. He takes the multi-tool again. He looks at the blade. It is duller than a butter knife. He tests it on his arm. He pushes the blade against the skin of his forearm. It doesn't cut. It just depresses the skin. He pushes harder. He saws back and forth. Finally, the skin breaks. Blood wells up. It hurts. But not as much as he thought. The nerves are dying. He probes the wound. He hits something hard. Clink. Bone. The radius and the ulna. Two thick bones. He tries to chip the bone with the knife. Nothing happens. He tries to saw the bone. Nothing happens. He stops. He looks at the knife. He looks at the bone. He realizes the horrible truth. I can't cut through bone with a pocket knife. He can cut the flesh. He can cut the muscle. He can cut the nerves. But the bone is the stopper. Unless he has a bone saw, he is trapped. He puts the knife away. He bandages the wound. He is devastated. He had summoned the courage to amputate his own limb, only to fail because of the tool. I am going to die here, he says. I am going to die because of a cheap knife. Tuesday night. He is delirious. He starts to hate his hand. He stops looking at it as my hand. It is it. It is the enemy. It is the thing holding him back. He pokes it. It has no feeling. He stabs the blade into his thumb. No pain. The hand is dead. It is a rotting piece of meat attached to his body. If he could just detach it. But the bones. The damn bones. He falls into a fever dream. He sees himself playing with a small boy, a blond boy in a red polo shirt. He is picking the boy up. He sees the future. He realizes, that is my son. I don't have a son yet. That means I survive. The vision gives him a surge of hope, but hope without a plan is just torture. And then he has an idea, a physics idea. Torque. Thursday morning, May 1st, 2003, day 6. Aron wakes up. He is barely alive. He has lost 40 pounds. His lips are burnt black. His eyes are sunken into his skull. He is hallucinating. He sees a boy in a red polo shirt again, his future son. He realizes this is the end. He decides to give up. He carves his name into the rock wall. Aron October, 75 to May 3rd. This is his gravestone. He sinks into a depression. He is ready to die. He gets angry. A flash of pure red rage takes over. He lunges against the rock. He throws his entire body weight against the trap. He isn't trying to pull his hand out. He is trying to rip his arm off. And then he feels it. His arm bends, not at the elbow. It bends below the elbow. The bone bows. The engineer in his brain wakes up for one last job. He looks at the trapped arm. He realizes, the rock is not just a trap, the rock is a vice. If he keeps his hand still and throws his body weight sideways, he can use the rock as a fulcrum. He can apply torque. He doesn't need a saw to cut the bone. He can snap the bone. He tests the theory. He levers his body toward the canyon wall. He feels the pressure building in his forearm. The bone, the radius, is bowing. He pushes harder. He screams. Crack. It sounds like a gunshot in the quiet canyon. The radius snaps. A wave of nausea hits him, but it is followed by a wave of euphoria. He has done the impossible. He has broken his own skeleton, but he isn't done. There is a second bone, the ulna. The ulna is thicker. It is harder to break. He has to bend his arm the other way. He squats down deep. He twists his body. He throws himself downward, putting all his weight on the wrist. Snap. It breaks. He collapses against the wall. He is panting. His arm is now floppy. It looks like a piece of rubber. The structure is gone. He is no longer attached to the rock by bone. He is only attached by meat. Now, he whispers, now I can cut. He knows he has about 5 minutes once he starts cutting before he bleeds out. He needs a tourniquet. He uses the hose from his camelback water bladder. He wraps it around his upper forearm. He uses a carabiner to tighten it. He twists it until his skin turns white. He tests it. No pulse in the wrist. Good. He takes out the multi-tool. He opens the small blade. He looks at his arm. He has to cut through the muscle, the tendons, and the skin. He starts. The knife is dull, but the tension makes it easier. He saws through the bicep tendon. It snaps back like a rubber band. He cuts through the muscle belly. It is bloody work. The blood is dark and thick. He doesn't feel much pain in the flesh. The arm has been dead for days. But then he reaches the nerves. The human arm has 3 main nerves: the radial, the ulnar, and the median. They are the information superhighways of the body. They look like white strands of angel hair pasta. Aron sees the first one. He knows that touching this nerve will send a signal to his brain that is brighter than the sun. He doesn't have a choice. He takes the knife. He hooks the nerve. He pulls it taut. Imagine thrusting your arm into a pot of boiling magma. He severs it. Snip! Aron screams. It isn't a scream of fear. It is a scream of system overload. His vision goes white. He nearly passes out. He shakes his head. Stay with me, Aron. Stay with me. He finds the second nerve. He cuts it. Another bolt of lightning. He finds the third nerve. The biggest one. He cuts it. The pain is so intense it almost feels like pleasure. It is sensation. It is life. He is almost free. The bones are broken. The muscles are cut. The nerves are severed. He is attached by one last thing, the skin on the palm of his hand. It is tough, leathery skin. He can't reach it with the knife easily. He has to twist his body around to get the angle. He saws at the skin. It is like cutting leather. He pulls, he hacks, and then the tension releases. He stumbles backward. He falls against the opposite wall of the canyon. He looks down. His right arm ends in a bloody stump, wrapped in a blue hose. He looks at the rock. His hand is still there. It is wedged in the crack. It belongs to the canyon now. He is free. He stands there for a moment. He is in shock. He expects to die right there. But he doesn't die. He feels a rush of endorphins that is stronger than any drug on earth. He is high on survival. He looks at his stump. It is dripping, but the tourniquet is holding. He looks at the boulder one last time. Goodbye, he says. He takes a photo. Yes. He takes a photo of the rock and his trapped hand. Why? Because he is a chronicler. He needs proof. Then he turns away. He has been standing in that spot for 127 hours. Now he takes a step. His legs are weak, but they work. He starts to walk down the canyon. He thinks the hard part is over. It isn't. He is 7 miles from his truck. He has no water. He has just amputated his own arm. And ahead of him lies a 60-foot rappel that he has to do with one hand. He walks about 100 yards. He finds a pool of water. It is dirty, stagnant, black water full of bugs. To Aron Ralston, it looks like champagne. He drops to his knees. He puts his face in the water. He drinks. He gulps. He drinks until his stomach hurts. He washes his face. He stands up. He feels the fluid hitting his bloodstream. "I am going to live," he says. "I am going to live." He starts to walk faster. He is a man on a mission. He has to get out of the slot before he bleeds to death. He approaches the drop-off. The big drop. Thursday afternoon, May 1st. Aron Ralston is free from the rock, but he is still in the canyon. He reaches the big drop. It is a 60-foot vertical cliff. Under normal circumstances, this is an easy rappel. But Aron has one hand. He has no belay device. He left some gear behind to save weight. And he is losing blood. If he passes out halfway down, he falls to his death. If he loses his grip, he falls to his death. He has to rig the anchor with one hand. He threads the rope through the anchor point. He wraps the rope around his body in a dolphinsitz, or body rappel. This is an old-school technique. The rope runs across your back and under your thigh. Friction is created by your body. It hurts. It burns the skin. He steps off the ledge. He holds the rope with his left hand. He uses the bloody stump of his right arm to guide himself away from the wall. He descends, foot by foot. He is weak. His vision is swimming. He hits the bottom. He unclips. He looks up at the rope. He tries to pull it down. It's stuck. He realizes he can't retrieve it. He leaves the rope hanging there, a blue line trailing down the red rock. It is the umbilical cord that connected him to the trap. Now it is cut. He turns around. He is out of the slot. He is in the main wash of Horseshoe Canyon. The walls are wider here. There is vegetation. He sees green cottonwood trees. He starts to walk. He has 7 miles to hike to get to his truck. It is 2 p.m. The sun is at its peak. It is 90 degrees. He is walking on autopilot. He looks down at his body. He is covered in dried blood, sandstone dust, and urine. His shorts are torn. His legs are white. He looks like a zombie from a horror movie, but his mind is hyper clear. He is calculating his fluid levels. I drank the dirty water. That buys me 2 hours. I am bleeding. That costs me energy. He sets a pace. Left, right, left, right. He talks to himself. Keep moving, Aron. If you sit down, you don't get up. He starts to pick up speed. He isn't shuffling. He is marching. It is a manic, desperate march. He knows the clock is ticking on his blood volume. He has lost maybe 25% of his blood. He crosses the sandy wash. He climbs small hills. He sees a bug on a flower. It looks beautiful. He has never seen color like this before. The green is neon. The sky is electric. He is seeing the world through the eyes of a man who was already dead. Around 3 p.m., he is a few miles down the wash. He sees figures in the distance. 3 people. A man, a woman, and a child. It is a Dutch family on vacation. Eric, Monique, and Andy Meyer. They are hiking, looking at rock art. They are happy. They are normal. Then they see him. Aron starts to run toward them, or stumble run. He waves his good arm. Help! His voice is a croak. Help me! The family stops. They look confused. Is this a prank? Is this a crazy person? Then they see the stump. They see the blood dripping from the blue tourniquet. Monique's face goes pale. Aron collapses in front of them. "I'm Aron Ralston," he gasps. "I lost my arm. I need water." They don't hesitate. Eric runs to him. They give him their water bottles. Aron drinks. He drinks everything they have. Eric gives him Oreos. Aron eats them frantically. The sugar hits his brain like rocket fuel. They are terrified, but they are brave. Eric tells Monique to run ahead to the trailhead to get help. But before she can leave, they hear a sound. Thwack, thwack, thwack. Let's rewind 6 hours. While Aron was snapping his bones, the world outside was looking for him. His mother, Donna Ralston, had hacked into his email. She found his credit card statement. She saw a charge for groceries in Moab, Utah. She called the authorities. "My son is missing. He is in Utah." The search was launched. Captain Kyle Ecker of the Emery County Sheriff's Office was in charge. He had a vague idea. Moab area. That is thousands of square miles. But then they found the truck. A maroon Toyota Tacoma at the Horseshoe Canyon trailhead. They ran the plates. Ralston. They knew he was there. But where? They launched a helicopter. Terry Mercer, the pilot, and Steve Swanky, the ranger. They were flying low over the canyon, scanning the washes. It is like looking for a needle in a haystack made of red rocks. They flew all morning, nothing. They were low on fuel. They were about to turn back to refuel. Then, Steve Swanky looked down. Swanky sees 2 figures waving frantically. The Dutch family. And a third figure sitting on the ground. The third figure is covered in blood. "I think we got him," Swanky says. The helicopter banks hard. It lands in the sandy bottom of the canyon wash. The rotor wash kicks up a storm of red dust. Steve Swanky jumps out. He runs to Aron. He expects a dying man. He expects a man who is unconscious. Instead, Aron looks at him. Aron stands up. "I'm Aron," he says. "I amputated my arm." Swanky is a seasoned ranger. He has seen everything, but he has never seen this. He looks at the stump. He looks at Aron's eyes. The eyes are lucid. "Okay, Aron," Swanky says. "Let's get you home." They help him into the helicopter. He sits down. He puts on the headset. The helicopter lifts off. For the first time in 6 days, Aron is not touching the ground. He looks out the window. He sees the maze of canyons below. He sees the slot canyon where he was buried alive. It looks so small from up here, just a crack in the desert floor. He starts to cry, not from pain, from relief. The pilot hands him a canteen of water. Aron drinks. Then the pilot hands him something else, a cookie, a chocolate chip cookie from his lunchbox. Aron eats it. He later said it was the best thing he had ever tasted in his life. He leans back against the seat. He watches the red rock speed by at 100 miles per hour. He checks his watch. It is 4 p.m. 6 days ago, he walked into the desert. Now he is flying out. He is lighter. He is missing 8 pounds of arm and bone, but he is heavier in spirit. They land at Allen Memorial Hospital in Moab. They don't wheel him in on a stretcher. Aron insists on walking. He gets out of the helicopter. He walks across the tarmac. He walks through the automatic doors of the emergency room. The nurses look up. They see a man covered in filth, missing an arm, walking upright. He walks to the gurney and sits down. Then, and only then, does he collapse. His blood pressure is dangerously low. The doctors swarm him. They start IVs. They stabilize the stump. They realize that he is on the brink of death from dehydration and blood loss. If he had stayed in that canyon one more night, he would have died. If he hadn't amputated his arm, he would have died. If the Dutch family hadn't been there, he might have died on the hike. Everything had to go right, and everything did. A nurse asks him, "Can I get you anything?" "Iced tea," Aron whispers. "A gallon of iced tea." She brings it. He drinks it. He falls asleep. When he wakes up, his mother is there. He looks at her. "I lost my arm," he says. "I know," she says, "but I got you back." A few days after the rescue, a team of park rangers returned to Blue John Canyon. They had a grim task. They had to retrieve the hand. They expected to walk in, lift the rock, and take the remains. They couldn't move it. 3 strong men pushed. The boulder didn't budge. They had to bring in a hoist. They had to use hydraulic jacks. It took 13 men and heavy machinery to move the rock that Aron Ralston had fought alone for 5 days. This is the ultimate validation of his decision. If he had waited for the rock to shift, it never would have. If he had waited for someone to hear him, nobody could have moved it. When they finally lifted the boulder, they found his hand. It was preserved perfectly by the dry desert air. They removed it. They cremated it. Months later, Aron returned to the canyon. He stood at the spot where he almost died. He took the ashes of his hand. He poured them into the crack. "You belong here," he said. He left a piece of himself in the canyon forever. It was a peace offering to the earth. Recovery was brutal. Aron didn't just lose a hand. He lost a massive amount of blood. His kidneys were shutting down. He spent weeks in the hospital. But the psychological recovery was fascinating. He experienced phantom limb pain. His brain still had a map for a right hand. It sent signals, clench fist, open fingers. But there was no hand to receive the signal. The pain was excruciating. It felt like his hand was being crushed over and over again. But remember, Aron is an engineer. He didn't just accept the disability. He engineered a solution. He looked at the prosthetics available on the market. They were clunky. They were designed for opening doors, not climbing ice walls. So, he helped design his own. He built a claw, a specialized prosthetic arm that could hold an ice axe. He built a climbing attachment that could jam into rock cracks. He became a bionic climber. He didn't hide the stump. He turned it into a tool. Most people who survive a trauma like that would never touch a rock again. They would sell their gear. They would play golf. Not Aron. 2 years after the accident, he went back to the mountains. He still had a project to finish. The Colorado Winter Solo 14ers. He had climbed 45 of them before the accident. He had 14 left. He climbed them all. He climbed the Maroon Bells in winter, some of the deadliest peaks in North America, with one hand. When he reached the final summit, he didn't scream or cheer. He just took a photo. He had proven a point to himself. The boulder hadn't beaten him. It had just paused him. He was still the soloist, but he was a different kind of soloist now. He left notes. He carried a satellite phone. He had learned the lesson of the avalanche. In 2010, the movie 127 Hours was released, directed by Danny Boyle, starring James Franco. Aron was involved in the production. He wanted it to be accurate. He showed James Franco the video diaries, the real ones, the ones he filmed in the canyon. Only a few people have ever seen those tapes. They are too raw for the public, but Franco studied them. He learned the way Aron talked, the way he moved his head when he was delirious. When Aron watched the premiere, he cried. He said it was like an out-of-body experience. He watched himself die and be reborn on a giant screen. The movie made him a global celebrity. He went on talk shows. He wrote a best-selling book, Between a Rock and a Hard Place. He became a motivational speaker. But he never let the fame consume him. He knew that the hero label was dangerous. "I'm not a hero," he often said. "I'm a guy who made a mistake and fixed it." The most haunting part of the story is the vision. On the last night in the canyon, Aron saw a blond boy in a red polo shirt. He was convinced it was his future son. That vision gave him the courage to break his arm. Years passed. Aron got married. In 2010, his wife gave birth to a son, Leo. Leo had blonde hair. One day, when Leo was a toddler, Aron walked into the living room. Leo was wearing a red polo shirt. Aron froze. It was the image. It was the exact image he had seen in his delirium 7 years earlier. He picked up his son. He wept. The vision wasn't a hallucination. It was a memory from the future. It was a promise kept. Aron often talks about the boulder. He doesn't hate it. He says, "That boulder was waiting for me." He believes that he was on a path of self-destruction. The avalanche in February was a warning he ignored. The recklessness was escalating. If the boulder hadn't trapped him, he might have died in a bigger fall a year later. The boulder stopped him. It forced him to sit still for 5 days and think about his life. It forced him to value his family. It forced him to realize that he wasn't invincible. "I touched death," he says, "and death taught me how to live." He lost a hand, but he gained a life. It is a fair trade. Today, Blue John Canyon is still there. The chockstone is still there, though it has shifted slightly. Hikers go there. Some leave notes, some leave water. But the real legacy isn't in the canyon, it is in the mind. Aron Ralston changed the definition of survival. Before him, survival was about luck. After him, survival was about math and will. He showed us that the human body is just a machine, and sometimes you have to break the machine to save the pilot. He showed us that there is no such thing as impossible. There is only necessary. We all have our boulders. We all have things that trap us. Debts, addictions, grief, fear. We feel stuck. We feel like there is no way out. We wait for someone to come and lift the rock. But Aron Ralston taught us the hardest truth of all. Nobody is coming. The helicopter isn't launching until you free yourself. You have to do the work. You have to break the bone. You have to sever the nerve. It will hurt. It will leave a scar. You will never be the same. But on the other side of that pain is the rest of your life. Aron Ralston walked out of the grave, and he is still walking.